Opinion with J&M. Hey, buddy. Oh, wait.
Jesus Christ. How many episodes?
It's been a while since I muted you.
Muted.
By accident or on purpose.
On purpose.
I feel like this is part of the gag already.
Yeah.
No?
Feels like it is.
How you doing?
Honest opinion, I went overboard, right? I look like a kid again.
What? On what?
The facial hair. It's too much. It hasn't been this short like in 10 years.
You absolutely did not look like a kid.
Dude, you barely had... Hold on.
All right. I guess I look old then.
You barely had hair to begin with. You didn't have much of a beard.
No, but it was a lot longer than this. It was a good inch longer, I think.
It's very cool to have stubble. I like it.
There we go.
Stubble, not a full grown beard, Michael.
Why are you trying to...
Possibly with makeup on.
No, not today.
No?
Not today. I don't got my fake beard on today. We have a returning guest and a new guest with us today. Two wonderful ladies that are have their own web series now. They're also going to start filming their own little short film, I think in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Emma's returning for her fourth
appearance.
Emma, how are you, girl?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be back in the new studio. Congrats, you guys. This looks great. I know I'm late on the party there, but I'm so happy to be back, hanging out with you guys, awesome. And now bringing my dear friend Lani here.
She can introduce herself. Go ahead.
Name's Lani. What's my biography? Emma's friend?
Emma's friend. All right.
Series partner.
We're
fellow actress.
Yeah, fellow actress, series partner for the project we're working on now.
Which, tell me a little bit about it. Well, let's start with the series because that's already out on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. So how did that come about? Like, what made you guys want to do it? Who wrote it? What was the idea?
How did you guys meet?
Yeah, our story is we met in an acting class.
You guys met in an acting class?
So we did one of these acting classes that has a bunch of parts to it. So it was like several months, and it was during the pandemic. So it was like, just a small group of people for many months, and we all kind of got close. And then after things lifted, we're like, hey, let's hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
let's get together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally got together for lunch with another one of our friends in the city, and Lani was like, I really want to create something. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, I always knew that she was a really great actor, just so funny on screen. And, when you spend so much time with somebody over 6 months, we're like, oh, we feel like we know each other, but, you never actually met in person. Mm-hmm. So we finally meet, and she's like, yeah, I really want to do something. I'm like, okay, well, whatever you do, like, I am on board with you. Let me know. And she's like, okay, cool. I really want to do something with roller skating, which is...
Oh, that was what
she...
I remember you brought it back.
So on the first time I was here, I wrote it down. I don't remember which episode it was, but Miguel, you had asked, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, my friend and I want to... This was actually July 25th of last year where I brought this up. So
okay, yeah.
It's almost a whole year since I've been talking about something anyways. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so... Anyways, so she's like, I want to do something with like girls are just roller skating and having fun.
It wasn't like a fleshed out idea. Right. It was just like a visual concept what's the premise?
Right.
Like so, fun stuff.
And we were talking, you were like, I'll help you write a script, and that's hilarious. But Lani ended up writing our series and our short film actually. What'd you say?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you said something.
I was gonna do it.
But that was our first meeting, and months went by, and Lani's like, I just can't find anybody. I'm talking to all these producers, but like no one's really committing. And I just so happen to have my computer in my car because I always bring my computer everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, let's just write something right now. Let's write some ideas.
Well, yeah, and I think of Emma as the instigator of it because she was the one who was like, no, we don't need all this stuff to actually just make something. We can just make a web series with an iPhone 13 Pro.
Yeah.
And I can just do something and just write it and make it happen and see how it goes.
I upgraded my 7 Plus to a 13.
I mean,
it lasted like 5 years. Mm-hmm. I upgraded 7 Plus to a 13 Pro Max. So we filmed all of 6 episodes on that, just her and I. I know Miguel, we had you in here for a minute to do sound, but it just didn't end up working.
It's all right.
And it was just her and I together.
Edited on iMovie.
Yeah, just we made a lot of mistakes, but it was really such a fun experience. So that's how it came about. And almost a whole year later, we're finally taking it to the next step from like inception and we want to do something to we have an idea and we're rolling with it. So it just takes a long time, but it's amazing.
It takes a long time.
It takes a really long time.
Yes, it takes a long time. But I think what's cool about it, it's like you guys have gone through the stages of like, you know, that first step where like, oh, we did something. You know, because it goes from an idea and then you start to get the weight of it's so much and it's this and it's that. And it's like when you see a finished product, it's like, yo, we did this. Why are you looking at me like you want to talk shit?
I must have skipped a step because I never went through the growing pains of trying to figure out how to do things.
I just dragged you along with me.
Yeah, you did.
That's amazing place to be, I think, to just show up and be like, here I am.
Yeah, it's the best.
I don't want to say that's how I am.
I don't think he likes it that much.
I love that. You and I are the similar, and then you two are similar, where you guys are like the planners, and we're like, here we are.
We'll just show up.
Yeah. How do we do it?
You guys are the talent.
Yeah, we're the talent.
But outside of like planning as a hurdle, I think just psychologically being like, could I actually do something and it be something that I even like? And just even that hurdle, even if you're not the planner or whatever, just crossing that hurdle and putting something out there and being like, oh yeah, we did this. And then when we're thinking about the short film and we're trying to hire people, it's like, this is what it's going to be like. It's not a hypothetical that we have to pitch to somebody. It's like, oh, these are the characters. This is the story. We've already done this. That made a big difference.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I agree with you. That hurdle of like I'm in that hurdle right now, where I'm like I'm so overwhelmed with things, and like we did the podcast, whatever. Then we did Emma helped me with my first short film.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then now we stepped it up to it was 15 minutes. Now we're half an hour to 45, and it's a bigger cast, a bigger, more in depth. It's a 3-act script, the whole 9 yards. And it's like. I start to get to that point where I'm like, I don't know if this is actually gonna come out or not. Like I'm kind of in that. Like I need to see something. You know what I'm saying? But then again, at the end, once you reach the finish line, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with today. When you reach the finish line, it's like so satisfying.
Yes.
When you see a project, when you see it kind of on screen. And
I think for us that moment, were you gonna say the screening?
Oh,
for us that moment for me it was the screening. Okay. So we had like just a little party at our place,
which was part of the entire plan. We were like, we're having a party and forcing people to watch this.
So we like lined up the couch and then a line of chairs and everything, and then so we had just a screening of like friends and stuff.
There was like 12 people there.
And of course there were all people
who walk in, you put the little ball and chain thing. And
exactly.
Ain't going nowhere.
I made an announcement. I was like, everyone's required to laugh.
We're gonna have a laugh sign up on the top, applause button.
Yeah, we're not taking any criticism. We're very insecure and press play.
Right.
And of course there are friends, so they want to encourage us, so they're laughing and everything. But that was a really big, really fun finish line experience to watch it with people in the room. That was
Michael,
really cool.
you could just meet me at the finish line when you're done.
I appreciate it. You know what's funny? John is credited on the poster as the producer. But he has not helped out.
Producer's a very flexible
not producer.
title.
What are you? Yeah, you're a producer.
I didn't even realize there was a poster.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
We gotta edit it though, because I think we gotta do a new one because we changed your character's name. But
and can I make a suggestion too? Can I have a headshot for me? For my picture, because I think I just grabbed the. I grabbed one on Facebook. I was like, oh,
yeah, absolutely, of course. You know which one I need? I need a headshot from Sayed though. Sayed doesn't have it.
Doesn't have a headshot.
I know. So you guys did your web series, right? What were your biggest challenges? What did you guys struggle with?
I would say we struggled with everything.
We really did.
But it wasn't discouraging. It was just like at the end of editing, well, what we had done was, we have part-time jobs, so we have a lot of free time, but obviously we don't have unlimited free time. So what we were doing was I was driving over to Emma's, she lives in the south suburbs, so it's far away. And I was spending the whole day there. So we were filming all morning and then editing in the evening. And we would finish one episode per day, mostly.
That was the goal.
So it was
anyways,
actually really, really intense, but obviously it's helpful to edit the same day so you don't forget things, you know?
Sure.
You can kind of, because we're not writing stuff down. We don't have a shot list and we don't have specific stuff like that. So generally speaking, it's very intense and very hard.
Yeah, it really was. I'd say there was one episode where, episode 4, Blackout, where we had to black out the all the windows. And before Lonnie came, I did the majority of it. And by the time she got there, I was just wiped. Like, I just think as actors, we're just so used to showing up on set, right? And everything's done for you. Like, oh, here's this. Okay, this is your line. This is your spot. Go for it. But when we were doing everything ourselves, by the end of the day, we were so wiped in a positive way. Like we were drained of energy, but in a good way, because we have almost just cleared our creative tanks.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot. It was just
That's
a lot.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And also we would just realize big mistakes that we had made while we're editing. And then we would just look at each other and we're like, we're not going back. Finish, export, so we're done.
Yeah,
you know,
because
so
we talked, we're like, okay, so are we going to redo this episode because of this little thing? But then that's going to open the door to redoing every small bit.
That's it right there.
And we just couldn't, we just can't
that's not
do
true.
that.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
you.
not
We just
true.
can't do that. So
yeah.
I wasn't like that when we did the short. What we shot, I worked with what we shot.
I bet you this one's gonna be different.
Yeah.
what?
Do it again.
To a point you said.
No, because I'm not directing this
Yeah.
time, so it's not up to me.
To a point you said before, like we were just excited to get something done, and same for you with your short. It's like every level you're just gonna have to up level.
Yeah.
You know, so
you grab what you learned and you move and you keep moving forward.
right. There's gonna be growing pains at every single level.
Absolutely.
They're just new struggles, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's still exciting.
So when it came to the editing part, because when I did editing, like when I started learning how to edit, right, that was a pain in the ass too. You know, like trying to figure out how to. Well, you're using iMovie, so it's similar to what I use. So that's probably the easiest thing I've ever. I mean, the easiest program to use, because Adobe Premiere and all those are just they're bananas.
It's simpler, yeah.
Like my buddy Diego uses Adobe Premiere, and I'm like, man, every time he's doing something, like, how does
What do you do? What do you use again?
I use Final Cut, which is iMovie on steroids. Basically, is what it is. What were your challenges editing? Like just figuring it out, how to actually make it work, or?
Well, first of all, Emma was in the driver's seat for editing, which is very helpful because she's much more experienced with that, and that was if I had to do it, it would have been a lot slower and more difficult. But I almost want to say our biggest challenges with editing was our mistakes as actors.
Yes.
For example.
Because we would do all this dumb stuff, like we wouldn't leave enough time at the beginning and ends of takes. Like we'd be like saying the lines and cut. Okay, let's do that. And we're like, and then we go to edit. We're like, how do we put this together? We need like 3 seconds of silence.
Right.
And so we do dumb stuff like that all the time. Or we'd make a whole bunch of weird noises that
God.
We would both do that, make all these funny noises and be like, I don't think so. And then we go to edit that and we're like, what? Why did we make that noise? How do we cut between 2 takes with those noises and stuff like that?
My MO was seriously, I'm like, shut up, Emma, like from the editing screen. I know too, it took us a while to figure out the camera angles where like they have to mirror each other, but one take, which you actually pointed out, you're like, this one, I'm like, yeah, we know we messed it up, but we did the opposite, so we couldn't use half of the take again. So yeah, I think that was.
But that's all learned. That's all you learn that as you go.
Yeah.
Also, even having enough space in my little computer.
Oh yeah, we could only edit one episode at a time because there wasn't enough space.
We were trying.
Girl, when we started, every step that we've ever taken in our careers, me and John, right, have memory space has been the biggest gripe of my life, not his, because obviously he's just a talent. He just shows up. But like I remember when we first started using cameras, remember?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, but in certain cameras, if you buy a camera like a DSLR or whatever, a lot of the lower ones, they come with a time limit of recording. They could only record 30 minutes, right? It's a law thing. I don't understand. But whatever. It's pretty stupid.
Even with a little chip or?
Yeah. So even if you have a memory card that's big enough to hold 5-10 hours, the lower priced DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, they have a time limit. It's a law thing against it's a thing against picture cameras and camcorders. They have a thing. I don't know. So when we first started using cameras, we record an entire episode, right? And then I go to play it back, or we get up and the camera's not recording anymore, and I'm like,
40 minutes.
what the fuck
on the
happened?
dot?
No,
Yeah.
it was 20. It was 20.
20?
It was 29 point whatever. It was literally 30-minute limits. So this was back in the day where I had to get up every 30 minutes to restart, and I had to stop everybody and blah blah blah. Like, you learn, same thing with editing. Holy crap, was my memory filling up hella quick when I was editing podcast or the bit, man. Like, it and the bad thing is it's all money. 'Cause now you got to get a bigger hard drive.
I know.
Upgrade
Whatever.
Computer and everything else. Yeah.
Then you got to think about speed, right? Because if you do something like a podcast, it takes time. But the faster your memory, the faster you can get through it. But obviously, the faster something is, the more expensive it is. Because you can get away with hard disk external drives, but they're slower. But if you spend money for SSDs, which are a lot faster, what are you laughing at? What are you snickering at?
No, because
He's nerding out over the SD cards.
I'm learning.
I never knew you did all this stuff.
Yeah.
What's an SD card?
But whatever. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's a process. It's something you learn. I mean, the good thing is you only get better.
I'll say one thing too. I mean, every part of this process was so fun, but us just cheering when we completed an episode, when we figured something out, you thought like we won $1 million. Like we were like, yeah, just going high-fiving, like, it's just that was all the hard work, the struggle to actually figure it out. All came.
Again, this is something John and me never experienced because he was never around.
Well,
John.
That type of...
I had to give myself this as I was completing things.
I was cheering for my house. You don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's here. He's here.
I just finished the episode. Can you believe it? Red.
Girl, that was one of the happiest things. Same thing. When we would do, I did the same thing because you're so too excited to even record the whole thing. Every time you record one thing, you're like, I gotta see it. I gotta see what it looks like. Like when you start piecing things together, and you can kind of get a story going. It's a crazy feeling,
Amazing.
especially for people that are novice. Because none of us are Steven Spielberg or whatever. Like we're just kind of learning as we go.
Well, we didn't go to film school, so
that too.
Yeah.
I mean, my film school is YouTube. That's my film school.
Best
That's
one
how I
ever.
learned how to do things. I mean,
Best one ever.
and it's free.
right.
Oh, YouTube Red. You got to pay $10 for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Neither here nor there. So what's another struggle you guys had besides editing? How about chemistry between you guys and anyone else who was in it? Was there any issues on set? Any fights?
If there's an
Any
issue, it's
chairs
me.
thrown?
Emma's
Ooh.
the nice one.
Really?
The truth is coming out today.
No, I'm just saying I'm the one who's
Never
a little
working
more.
with Emma again, ever.
I think Emma's a great partner. Is my point. I think she's the team player. Have figure out how to communicate better.
Yeah.
No.
Because my whole thing is I'm just raring to go, and I'm like, and Emma's like, so I actually need to understand what's going on. Okay, right.
That'd be helpful.
Oh my gosh. No, I'd say I learned a lot how to communicate better. I think for both of us, we really had to step up our communication, and especially through text messages, like can get very weird sometimes, right? So
We do Google Docs. We have a million Google Docs.
Yeah, a million Google Docs, and just trying our best to be like, this is what I mean. Do you understand? I don't know the answer, but I'm questioning this. Yeah. So I think that's really helped me grow as a person in general. And something Lonnie and I have talked about is this whole experience project from the web series to now our short film has tested us as humans. And I think that's the best place to be is like you're growing in your craft, but you're also growing as a person. And I can definitely see that from both of you. I mean, look at where you have come from in the other studio. Now you're here. I've been on the old set of the other short film that I helped you with. And now I was on the set that you are coming up with now. And I'm just blown away. Seriously, you're always up leveling. Applause.
Oh, wrong one. That's the one.
So I'm very impressed with you, Miguel and Jonathan. So
Jonathan does nothing.
Jonathan, yes, you do.
Let's get that out the way. I mean,
the hype man has its place, has his place.
I figured he would be like the guy who funds the project, but he hasn't done that either.
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on.
He didn't even order pizza that day when we went to freaking one test shot.
What is
But you
your
know what?
struggle?
You can order pizza
All right.
next week
All
when we go
right.
shoot. Because
Okay.
we're all going to be shooting on next Saturday.
Oh, are you going to be there?
At some point, you'll probably
Awesome.
get there.
Yay.
Yeah, no, for
At some
sure.
point you'll get there.
Okay, what's one of your struggles?
Wow.
Me?
No.
Aside from me,
No.
something aside from me.
You know, in a way, I don't mind it because I'm in my own head a lot of times, and I like to figure things out
You
on my
laughing
own.
at him? No, I said
She's
that's
laughing
you.
at you.
That's me.
You'll see it in the video what she did. You'll see it.
No, I just pointed at you. I didn't.
I like to kind of figure things out on my own. I've always been kind of a loner, so it's like I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself, which probably is it good? Is it
Process
bad?
on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I love that he's around and he'll listen to me. I don't know if he's actually listening to me or not.
I'm listening right now.
Right now, I think you have headphones on.
The
You have no
camera's on,
choice.
so I'm listening. I
It's
have.
in your ears. But I'm like that. I'm kind of like whatever. But my struggle right now is like, I get that doubt where I'm like, are we actually going to be able to finish this? And because there's so many things as it gets bigger, right? So now there's more people involved. Again, people are doing this out of the kindness of their heart. I'm not paying them, so like at the same time that comes with its own struggle because when you pay someone, they'll show up.
They show up, right?
When you don't pay them, you have to be lenient and understanding. That
You're
obviously
pretty much at their mercy. That's
Kind of.
yeah.
Yes and,
no,
yes and
more
no.
than,
I mean, yes and no. I mean, you would hope that most people would be, if they accept the role, they would be kind of flexible at points, but I have to be even more flexible, because now it's like I got to stretch everything out even more. Like I know I have you, Erica, and Miguel these days, but I don't have Vanessa. And I got to figure out how can I get, when everyone's together, I need to make sure the time that I have everyone together, I got to maximize that time. That's just like right now it's in my head. Like, how can I get all these shots covered? And then on top of that, I have a performance that I have to do as well. And that's where I'm losing my mind.
Yes.
While I'm trying to figure things out behind the scenes, I'm also trying to figure out this character that I want to play. That's my challenge.
I think that's good advice for us because that's what we're going to be coming up to soon in July because we hired a DP who's totally on board with our visual creativeness, and we want him to be just as creative and involved, but we haven't had that experience of a little bit more of a high scale where it's just her. Otherwise before it was just her and I like passing the camera, where now we are going to have to delegate a little bit more.
See, and this is that I actually, mind you, the first time I did it with you, I ran everything.
Right.
Basically, that was a headache. This time I have Diego and Solomon helping out and Rebecca, but even then it's like trying to hand the keys to your kid.
He's
like,
the type of guy, like he talks crap, but he's the type of guy that if I did all of this for this podcast, he'd double check my work. So it makes no sense for me to do it. He's
absolutely.
that type of guy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so there you go.
It's because, again, I'm assuming at some point, everyone has a standard of a product. Right? So you guys have a standard now that you have your web series, correct? So there is no going back at this point.
Absolutely.
Are we agreed?
Yeah, of course.
So now it's only forward, yes? So if I give the keys to this podcast to Jonathan, and Jonathan does it for me, and I've helped him, whatever, but I mean, I'm going to expect to reach a bar. Now, obviously, it's my duty to show him how to do it, right? And if it's lower than that, well, we've had issues where like certain podcasts won't go up because of quality. I won't let them up. Because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to whoever watches us and a disservice to the guest.
People in Turkey.
I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the guest because I feel like I want to show them in the best way I can. Why would I do that?
Well, I think that's what we struggled with web series in terms of looking at each other and saying, does this meet our expectations and our standards? No.
No.
But what does it meet? And we decided we could make these episodes, whatever we're working on, into something that we could tolerate being out there.
Right.
So it's like,
I agree.
so
I
it's
agree.
a range, you know.
I'm not
And
happy
then-
with every episode we've had in IMO. I mean, I've put them up because they're passable. Like I look back at some of the old ones, and I'm like, oh God, like what the hell was I
Cringeworthy.
thinking? Yeah, like what was I thinking? Like
But then
who put
nothing
that
would
up there?
ever go up.
Right, but then nothing
You know?
will go up.
True.
And like with your project, it's like, will it all come together? It will come together, but it's just a matter of you deciding.
I think it's a consistency thing.
Mm.
You know, that's why when I started upgrading stuff, right? When you upgrade, obviously it gets a little bit easier in a way to be consistent. Now the podcast becomes easier because everything kind of stays the same. So back in the day, I had to take everything down. I had to restart everything. So figuring out the same exact angle every week was a pain in the ass. Different story when we're here. Here, all at least the main cameras, me and John's cameras stay exactly the same. They don't go anywhere, so we look roughly the same every week. You know, the guests a little bit different. Obviously, some people are taller, shorter, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, consistency in this improved because we had a space that was just for this, you know. And a film
Provided by
the Sears Roebuck Foundation.
Yeah, okay.
Jonathan Diaz. Yes, Jonathan Diaz. He
Yeah.
bought a new house.
Yeah.
He bought a new house and we got a new studio. That's what we did.
Hey, Michael.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think in a film, though, as you get better, you know, you start to figure out a pattern and figure out what works for you, and you constantly use the same thing. Like you guys are still kind of the first time you guys have done this, so like you guys are still experimenting, but now you kind of have an idea of what it takes. So again, you're gonna grab what you've learned, and now you know the mistakes that you've made. Now it's easier to avoid those mistakes, or vice versa, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's an interesting road.
That being said, I mean, we're hiring a professional DP and crew.
That would help.
So a lot of that concept of consistency
That's on them now.
is on them.
Seriously.
But we're really excited about Jaden.
Jaden Morelli.
Yeah.
He's our guy.
We definitely get the impression that he's a partner and that he would be like, hey, here's a suggestion for how to do this differently, you know. So we're all working together.
Was that a pricey negotiation that you guys did with him?
He's an up and coming filmmaker, so it wasn't like
Drastic.
You know, drastic. I mean, he's definitely cutting us a favor.
Sure. Oh, that's.
But,
I mean,
you know, we're all kind of trying stuff out, and he for the first time and stuff.
yeah. I mean, we're kind of in the same boat. Like Diego, obviously, I went to high school with Diego, but you know, he wants to get into the whole thing, and I mean, and I'm starting up, you know, my own thing. So it's like, well, why not just screw it? Let's just work together and see if we can make it happen. And me and him work pretty well together. I'm pretty sure he's sick of me already because I call him all the time. But sooner or later it'll stop. The phone calls will stop eventually. So you guys are going to go to Vegas for the next thing, right? For the short.
Or Lana and Emmy are back with a short film. Yeah.
So
Short film.
how long are you trying to make this short for? Like how long what's the length of the short? Would you say?
Oh, the runtime?
Yeah. What would you say?
Probably we're shooting for 25 minutes. Because when you apply to short film stuff, which I'm sure you know, the limit for a short film is sometimes 30 minutes and sometimes 40 minutes.
Right.
So we figure if we can get it under 30 minutes, we'll be, you know, in for more applications and stuff like that.
So is this going to be like a legitimate continuation? So like you guys have what, like 8 episodes or 9
Six episodes. Yeah, it's an exact pickup.
So it's going to be a pickup straight? Because you left, right? In the last episode, you were leaving.
No, we had a cliffhanger where Emmy was going to take the job in LA with a horrible boss.
That's what it was.
And we're like, oh, she's going to go and she's going to break up the duo and it's a terrible situation, but she feels like she has to do it. And then Lana's old ex-fiance calls and it's a cliffhanger. We don't know what happens there. So we just picked up the story from there.
It is a standalone as well, though. You don't have to watch the series to know what's going on in the short.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be any rollerblading? Or?
No.
I know. No, there was never any rollerblading.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. It just cracks me up because you start with one idea and then it's completely different. And I just want to shout out to how clever we are, where I'm obviously Emma and she's Lonnie, and we just flipped our ends of our names to Lana and Emmy. Like I just love that. It's so cute. It's so cute and simple. Mm-hmm. Which you guys can go and watch it. Just Google. It's on YouTube. Lana and Emmy.
Yep.
How's the reaction been from people? Like, what have people been telling you?
Our friends tell us they love it. We don't have any.
So you got to take those with a grain of salt, right?
That's why she said it like that.
What my boyfriend said.
It's great.
Yeah, he said it's great. They again, I guess I don't have anybody to really know for sure, but the physical comedy people seem to really enjoy. Like there's one scene where I fall on the floor with a whole bunch of cookies, and she like comes running in, and I'm just like on the floor. People really liked that.
We wrote all these jokes, and it was just crickets. And then whenever someone like fell on the ground, everyone's like, ah! And we're like, okay, taking note of that.
Right.
Well, I mean, the whole falling, hitting kind of thing has always been kind of funny in general. The physical comedy thing is always, I mean, if you look at the Three Stooges and the time when they were, I mean, what were they doing? Were their jokes any funny? Kramer, yeah, they were there. Literally, if you watch the Three Stooges, any of their jokes, were they necessarily funny?
Yeah, Mo was kind of funny.
He would just beat them up. He would just beat people up.
Disparage the Three Stooges.
They were the whole slapstick thing, you know, and it works. I mean, it works. I mean, so are you guys going to, in your short, is it going to be the same tone, or are you guys going to add a little more seriousness to it, or
I would say
drama?
It's a pretty serious. It's a pretty similar tone in the sense that we did have a lot of serious moments, but overall, it's relentlessly positive and wholesome kind of feeling. You know, the characters disagree with each other, I think, but I hope you do always get the impression that they are friends and it's gonna work out, and it's really upbeat in the end, and that sort of thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
How long is the Vegas trip gonna be?
We'll be there for about a week and a half, right?
Yeah, almost 2 weeks.
And we're filming for 5 days, so.
Holy smokes!
See, that's a challenge though, because
you
almost. That's a deadline, right? Like you have to go back to Chicago, or wherever. Yeah. It's like you literally have to finish. Like there's no
get a one way, and
there's no way you can say, we'll shoot it tomorrow. No, we're not going to be here tomorrow.
Nope.
That's and
you know the pricing for these professionals' work is per day, so you have to create filming days that are reasonable but a full day. And so it's actually quite a lot. Every day is going to be quite challenging.
You know what's interesting? How much money could be involved in something like this? So like I actually, before I hooked up with Diego and started doing it that way, I reached out to a few people that do films. And again, they're not robbing me blind, right? But we are talking about like, $1,000 for, 2 days or 3 days or something like that. And I understand. I get it, right? It costs money, but I'm just like, wow, like, can you imagine what it would take? So right now I'm at 1, 2, 3. I'm at like 8 days of shooting, quote unquote. Right. So that would have ran me how much already?
Jeez.
Yeah. That would have cost me a crap ton of money. And it's like, it's ridiculous. This is why I'd rather learn how to do some things where like I can, like if I only need a cameraman, I'll hire a cameraman. I don't need a whole production team because I got everything else. Like it's you just got to learn as much as you can and just figure things out. So you guys met at a acting class? Did I hear that right? Where?
The green room.
The green room?
Yeah. The green room. When it was virtual. We started class. I think in like March or
because it was right after the pandemic started.
Visual,
right.
A virtual
See,
class.
he does not like virtual.
I really loved this class because it was an on-camera class, and our homework was creating self-tapes and submitting the self-tapes and getting feedback on them.
Oh, okay. You know what? I can see
that
very
format,
practical,
and maybe only that format is a great online acting class. I
can see where that could work.
It's very practical. Yeah,
I can see where that could work. Cool. Maybe I misunderstood what online, because I would see some online classes and I'm like. Like I think I saw some from Chicago
Actor Studio Chicago.
Actor Studio. The best. And I saw some of their online stuff because they were doing online too, and I'm like, I don't know if I like the way that thing is.
Malone.
I don't know. I've always been an in-person thing. I feel like acting is an in-person thing. Like, would you be able to act virtually? I don't know. I don't think I would be able to.
You got to
be able to see the person. You got to be able to see what they're feeling, and then see through their eyes and the whole 9 yards.
That being said, I feel like I've had a lot of acting experiences where I feel like I'm looking at a cardboard cutout of a human being.
Oh, you
In
know what?
person.
Hey, that's
So
true.
that helps in training
That could
to
be-
be like looking at a camera and being like, all right, here we go, pretend.
This day and age, almost all callbacks and all these things are all virtual. So it's like you have to get it together.
You do a self-tape and then you have a virtual callback.
Yeah.
But you do a self-tape.
Booking
well, at least-
off of self-tapes.
Right, but your self-tape, like for example, when I do a self-tape, he's my reader. He's an actual person in the room with me, versus someone who's on a screen. You know, it's a little different.
Just
You know, it's a
another way to
little
help.
different. It's almost like, you know, the concept of you, like say you practice and you have yourself recorded and you have your other person. Like that's as good as it is as a tool to learn. It's hard to react because there is no reaction here. There's nothing you really see. It's just a voice. You know what I'm saying? Like when John's there, even though he's not an actor, I can still look at him. Like even yesterday, I was here and we were going over my lines for the.
Oh, it was awful.
You were awful.
I was off. That's what I meant.
So even if he's not an actor, I can give a performance and try to get him to feel something from me. You know what I'm saying?
Felt
so
nothing.
But still, I'm going to come back with the argument that even on a high caliber set, there's sometimes you're just looking at a sticker. You're not looking at a person.
That's true. I guess you're right.
So you have like
You are right.
For me, I'm just like I won't allow that.
I agree. You know what? I stand corrected.
Wait, you
correct.
won't allow what?
Like I won't allow myself to say, oh, it's better this way. You know what I mean? It
Sure.
is better, of course. You need that human connection, but there's so many. I forgot what interview I was watching, but the actor was like, yeah, I was literally staring at the cameraman's crotch because I was supposed to be looking at somebody, but no one was there. So I was just staring at their
And I
crotch.
think that's what they do on like every Marvel movie.
They're
Only looking at like balls on the stick.
Yeah, that's when they do green screen or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Not that that's the biggest acting of all time, but
Right.
I mean, but even then now they do the suit thing. So they have someone in a suit. So you're actually like looking at someone. Like I remember when they did the Hulk in one of the Avengers movie, like they had a cardboard cutout of the Hulk in green
really?
or whatever. So like the actors knew how to look up or whatever. Or they'll have like a tennis ball and they'll move it around so you can follow it with your eyes or whatever.
I was watching Sonic 2 with my nephews last night. And
Why do you say it like that? Those are good movies.
No, it was a really good movie,
Those are
but
good
I was
movies.
watching that because they would like hug Sonic. They would look right at him. I was like, how do they?
it's probably a
do
person.
Somebody in a
Yeah,
green suit.
right,
Somebody in a green
right.
suit. Yeah.
But it was just so cool.
No, I mean
I
that's.
thought that was awesome. It was a really good movie.
You know what's funny? I think they were saying, I haven't seen it yet, but they're raving on the Top Gun Maverick film with Tom
Oh
Cruise.
yeah, I've heard a
They're
lot about
raving about it right now, how good it is. And one of the things that people were saying is they use a lot of practical things. So there's actual jets and it's real. It's not so much CGI because think about it. 90% of movies now, like everything is CGI.
that. Yeah.
Especially, your Marvel movie or whatever. What's not in CGI?
So true.
Everything's in CGI.
And even if it's imperfect, you often like the practical effect more.
Yeah, I mean, look at. I know you're gonna hate that I say this, but like,
What's up?
The Rock plays Black Adam in a DC film. He gets so flustered when I say The Rock. He hates him.
You hate the Rock.
Yeah.
Because look at
'Cause
who
Look
he
who's
loves.
behind them.
He's just a rip off of that guy.
It's a ripoff of Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger's from Austria, Germany. Where's he from?
Austria, I'm pretty sure.
Austria. Yeah.
Austria.
Sure.
I think he's saying he's a ripoff of like his career, like he's a fake cheap copy of Arnold Schwarzenegger in his career, because they're both muscular guys. That's kind of his thing.
What about Lou? There's been a lot of muscular guys.
Yeah, but they
weren't as big.
You were
as
going to
them.
say Lou Ferrigno?
Ferrigno?
Yeah.
He was like an original too.
But he
came
was
out
never
in
as
the
big.
80s.
He was never as big.
But
His
Arnold
movies
never
were never-
did wrestling. And The Rock started in wrestling and his dad was a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
I think
That's true,
his
but-
argument is that he hates The Rock because The Rock doesn't admit that he takes steroids.
That's true.
That's his
That is
biggest
also
gripe.
true.
Well,
That's
they
his biggest
all
gripe.
are doing something.
Yeah, but
And every influencer on Instagram.
And so did Arnold.
they're
Arnold
taking
took
that
steroids
stuff
too.
that cuts you,
dang, she looked at you when she said that. Are you on steroids? No.
Yeah,
course
everyone
not.
check out all of Emma's photos on Instagram where she's just giving us.
No, Emma, bro, I've seen Emma take some pictures. She's in really good shape, man. Like it
Oh,
just
yeah,
makes
Emma's
me
in great
like
shape.
she
Working
can
on
whoop
it.
my ass.
I'm working on it.
And he has something with your boyfriend. I don't know.
Well, your boyfriend is amazing. I mean, I don't know if he still is, but the
He-
pictures you
yeah.
would put in, he's in amazing
He
really
shape.
is.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
both of them.
He's in amazing
He
shape.
body shames me.
I don't body
You do body shame me.
No.
You say Emma's boyfriend looks
Listen,
a lot better
hold
than
on,
you.
hold on.
He's
Let me-
ripped.
let me-
He's this. He's that.
Hold on.
I won't
Miguel?
stand
Hold
for
on.
bullying.
Hold on. Here's the thing. So John is very competitive when it comes to weightlifting, right? Like
No.
John,
So he's jealous of The Rock.
yes.
No.
He's very jealous.
I'm
of
not
The Rock.
jealous of that guy because I know he's on gear.
Jesus
Sad,
Christ.
sad.
I don't know.
Steroids.
I just laughed.
Steroids.
It's slang for steroids.
Listen.
Gear.
All right.
Here's the thing about your boyfriend. So whenever I mention your boyfriend, right, it's usually about weightlifting, right? Obviously, right? Because he's into weightlifting, you guys are into weightlifting, right? And then he gets to the whole point where like he'll say something maybe in the range of, oh, I could probably bench more than him, and I'm like. I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly what is said. I'm not saying that's exactly what is said.
Territory.
I'm just
Never
saying
said
that. And here's my argument with him. I'm like, look, you guys are different. You get it? He's fit overall,
And
Like,
I'm
he's-
fat.
And he
According to you.
he's
And I'm
bulky.
fat.
He's bulky. Is okay. Like
what's the
Emma's
difference
boyfriend.
between
No.
fat and
Emma's
bulky?
boyfriend, because it's a different type of working out. It's not the same. Like to be John's like a power lifter where like he can compete in a strongman competition flipping Volkswagens.
No.
Those guys are not in the greatest shape. They're strong as hell, but they're not in the greatest shape. Her boyfriend is like Arnold, where like he has abs, he has his arms are cut, chiseled. Look at.
Okay, well, first of all, when you
You know what
think
I'm
about
saying? There's a difference in it. There's a difference in it.
I think we're all figuring out that you can have a higher body fat percentage and still be really, really in shape. And when we
Absolutely.
think of Arnold, we think of him in show shape, which is him cut, dehydrated, right? And he's not lifting during that time. It's a whole different thing. You know, it's not. You're not at your strongest when you're on
Competing?
stage posing.
Oh,
You
your
know,
body's fatigued at that
That's when
point.
you're at the
Sure.
weakest.
But
So,
I
right.
don't recall even when he was lifting. So let's say pumping iron, for example, which is the build up to it. So he's working out. He's legit working out. He doesn't look too far from that.
No.
And that's a pose. Like he won at that point, and he doesn't look too far from that.
Nowadays,
Even in like
it's a little
Terminator, he
bit
doesn't look that
more-
far from that.
It varies a little bit more nowadays.
John, I will never say you're not a very strong.
You just bring
individual.
up her boyfriend to
This is very.
irk me, to be honest with you.
John,
This
I trust
conversation
that
starts all the
you
time.
are not what he is saying, so we know the truth.
Do you know what? I heard something recently, and I think this is so true.
Sure.
Most human beings on Earth, generally speaking, are attracted to a body with grabbable fat.
Little
That's
meat on their
healthy.
bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree.
I think it's everybody has their taste. I think everybody has their taste.
Yeah.
They
There's
like what
so
they
many
like.
different types of fit, like
Yeah.
you were saying, like
Yeah.
more functional, super strength. Yeah.
John would be in the super strength category.
Super strength.
So wait, but back to The Rock for a second. Jeez, for a
We're
second.
getting- we're
We totally went
spiraling
off
down.
topic. Yeah, we
We're
went
getting
off. We
deeper.
totally went off topic. The
about
reason I
that
brought The Rock
bum?
in was because he's always posting pictures on Instagram, and he's playing Black Adams, and he posted some pictures of himself in the suit, right? And he has a cape, but there's no cape in the actual suit because they CGI the cape. And I'm like, this is what it's come down to? Like, literally, you have to CGI the cape? I know they've been doing
What is
it.
he, like Spawn, that he has his cape like morphs into different things?
No, it's just the way it flows.
So why
It's
not just make it?
But you
But
can
it's
understand
easier-
how
it's easier
hard
to
that
edit
would
it.
be.
To edit the cape.
To have the
yeah,
cape be
that's
correct.
so true.
Right, because
Ugh.
imagine you practically trying to get a cape to sway like on the left of him perfectly.
Get a fan.
Even with that, it still wouldn't sway perfectly.
And then two little invisible strings.
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
I'm over there
do you
doing
remember?
this.
Do you remember?
That
You
seems
remember?
a lot more practical.
You remember Batman '89, right? The one with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Okay, the part where he actually lifts up his cape, he has two like drumsticks holding the rest of it because it's too short. Like, I mean, come on, it looks weird.
Technology.
But that's what I'm
has
saying.
changed.
Right now, it's like why even bother trying to manipulate a prop
Right.
if we can just add it on afterwards and it's just as effective.
I guess
They did the same thing with the Spider-Man movie. Did any of you guys watch the newer one?
Yeah, yeah.
So Dr. Octavius in the original movie when he was in, he had prop arms. There were people actually on the outside moving these things around or whatever. This time around, they didn't bother with that. It just gave them all CG. You can't even tell the difference. You know?
It's kind of sad. Because going back to what we were talking about with the planes, and it's like, I mean, part of the reason why I love acting so much is because you're in a different world, right? So all the CGI stuff is making it different.
I don't know if you guys are Lord of the Rings fans, but there's a famous quote with Ian McKellen making The Hobbit, where obviously since he's big and the other characters are small, they're often separated. And then there was this one time where he was in a complete CGI room of the little house, the Hobbit house. And he just was sitting there all alone all day long, and he just started crying. And he's like, this is not why I got into acting. And it was like a really low day. And then they did all the stuff to make him feel better and all that stuff. But it was just like,
oh, that is sad.
Yeah, that's what people are feeling like.
Then his paycheck came in and he got happy.
Yeah, true.
No, I agree with you, Emma. I think it's like, okay, so if you dream of one day playing Spider-Man, well, in reality, you're not, even if you're an actor, I mean, how much time do you actually play Spider-Man nowadays when you have the suit on for a second, then you hand the suit off to a stunt guy, then they hand the suit off to a computer tech guy who's going to do the rest of it. So, I mean, you're not even really Spider-Man at all.
I could see where she's saying it's different.
Yeah.
Like, you probably start out in theater, I'm assuming, and then you're in a green room. It's kind of weird.
And then it's crazy to think, right, how far it's gone, and then, like, how much better some films from back then look compared to now. Like, I'll give you an example. So, like, Terminator 2, right? Terminator 2 is one of the greatest sequels of all time ever made, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger's in that. Yes, you want that? There you go.
And The Rock wasn't, right?
Yeah, The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock was still in diapers, I think, at that time.
No.
Anyways.
That was 92.
So in 92, Terminator came out, and you watch it now, and it's very impressive still. And a lot of it's practical effect, right? Still very impressive. You watch Jurassic Park, the original, 93. It still looks really good for a movie that was made in 1993. But then you'll watch some movies nowadays, and you're like, wow, this looks fake. Like, I don't understand. Shouldn't it be getting better and not worse?
Scorpion King.
Oh, God. Really? You
Scorpion
just
King.
don't like The Rock, bro. You just don't. See?
Awful.
Didn't see
King.
Scorpion.
You didn't watch Scorpion King?
Don't watch it.
Pretty bad. Hey, he was a rookie, man. He was green back then. He was like me.
Yeah, I don't care.
Giving him a lead role. I'd be pretty bad, too. Just saying.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, where can we go from here now? I'm sorry. I'm totally
So
lost with the Rock thing.
Why would
you
you
lost
say
me with the
that?
Rock thing. You lost me with the Rock thing. So what are you guys looking forward after the Vegas film? Like, what's the future for that?
Well, you know, I have to say, and I think I've told you this, I'm trying really hard to stay in the moment. So I'm trying really hard not to actually think about what's next. What's next is applying to film festivals. That takes 9 months, a year, whatever, for this project. But I'm trying really hard not to get caught up in everything I have to do and not enjoy this moment. Because even if we do end up doing crazy stuff, you know, doing whatever we do in the future, like, this is going to be a pretty special moment, even if it doesn't turn out the way we wanted to. Just, you know, your first thing that you're doing, project and stuff. So I'm trying really hard to just, like, think a lot about how I'm going to feel on set and how every day is going to go, and cherishing every moment and stuff, and having a lot of fun and not getting overwhelmed and stuff like that. And I think that's going to make a better.
Sure. What about you, Emma? What are you seeing in the future, if you differ from her opinion?
I mean, the first thing that goes to my mind is, like, I know this is jumping far ahead, obviously, but, like, traveling for film festivals. That'd be really fun,
Yeah,
especially to do together and be like, here we are, here's our stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the first step is always just getting and filming the damn thing.
Yeah.
So we're really excited just to be in Vegas and be in our zone, you know. Like, it's a very structured week, and we're just gonna be it's gonna be great.
So when it comes to acting, what do you struggle with? Let you go first. I think me and Emma have talked about this on the pod before. What's your biggest struggle in as an actor or actress?
That's hard to say, because sometimes I wonder if my biggest struggle is something that I'm not aware of. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm doing my thing, and it's really hard to get feedback, except when you're doing your own project and you're watching it the same day and you're watching the footage over and over and you're making changes in the moment and then you're editing it. And then by the end of the day, you're like, yeah, I know exactly what the best choices I could have made are, you know? But, you know, in professional life, in the real world, you never get feedback. I mean, they hire you because they like the one thing you did, and then you do it, and then you go home, you know? And not to say I'm not doing acting classes and stuff like that, but I think maybe my struggle, just continuing on that idea, is like how that is what it means to be an actor, is just to not really ever fully grasp the je ne sais quoi of whatever makes you interesting to other people. And even if you did have a full understanding of it or control over it, maybe it would then slip through your fingers because you'd be too in your head about it or something
I can see
like
that.
that. So it's just
I can
kind of
see
like
that.
being in the moment, being fun, trying to be, you know, as charming as you can be with and interesting as you can be. But it's hard to be that self-aware. So those ideas all swirling around, I think, is what currently I think of as the hardest part.
Emma, because I know you were on stage not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that's
going
a whole
back
different,
on it too.
That's a whole different set of challenges, and that's a whole different type of acting. At least I would say it's a whole different type of acting.
Yeah.
What was your experience in that?
Yeah. Kind of going off what Lonnie said, is having at least the director, Richard Gallion, for this play that I was in and am in, because we're doing another round. I don't know if I told you that. But he's like, you are doing this, this, and this, and I need you to do this. I'm like, oh, I thought I did that. And he's like, no, you seem like you're doing this. And I'm like, oh, shit. Well, all right. And that's happened to us on set too with the series, where I think I'm portraying something and Lonnie says, it looks like you're doing something completely different. I'm like, mother, damn it, you know? So
Curse. You can curse.
I'm kidding.
1, 2, 3. Damn. So that's my biggest struggle, is really trying my best to actually portray what I want and not it be misconstrued to look something completely different. So that's a real issue.
That's something I
That's
really
a
liked
struggle.
about the green room.
Yes.
I felt like I got a lot of really great criticism that was like, check out what you're doing and how it comes across, regardless of how you feel. Like, oh, okay, got it.
right.
You know?
No, and it's interesting. Like I always love when people tell me what they see outside. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's you can think or feel whatever you think, but again, what you display and what the camera sees are two different things. You know, when you see it afterwards, it's like, yeah, did I look like I was sad? Did I feel like, I mean, I'm you know, it's one of those. But again, my biggest challenge.
What's yours?
My biggest challenge is kind of like letting go, you know, or like, you know, you watch all these famous people, you watch great actors, right? Like Pacino or whoever, or Gary Oldman.
Who's he? I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna get into that. Nope.
Why'd you
I'm
look
not
at
even
me?
gonna get there. You look at these famous actors and these really good actors, and you start to like wonder, you know, how is it that they're so freaking,
Please.
how are they so comfortable, you know, and they can just let go, you know, and just be.
And by let go, you mean
Be
truly
present.
be themselves and be present.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like again, it's obviously preparation and all that. That's all part of it. But like, I mean, I've prepared and I've done things and I've done a few things, and I still feel like I'm giving a performance. And I feel like they're not necessarily giving a performance. They're just being.
You asked them that though? Because maybe
I would
you're
love
just,
to ask Gary Oldman.
You're just speculating.
I would
I'm
love-
saying you're speculating that they're in the moment, but what if they're not?
About how they feel.
Yeah.
But that's how good they are, right? Because they can fool me to thinking that they're just.
You fooled me.
Yeah. When?
I'm always just gonna give it to you because
So like, okay, I like, you ever watch on YouTube? There's a round table channel that has like, they'll usually have like, you know, big time actors, and they sit on a table. Like I remember watching one with Gary, and it was Tom Hanks, and it was like Andrew Garfield or whoever, and they're just talking about what they do, and even when they're there, like they're just them. And it's like, okay, I can be me here. Right here, I'm me. Right? I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable who I am. I can talk here all day. I don't give a crap about lights and camera. That don't bother me. Used to it, right? But I feel like it's different when you're on a set. And maybe it's
this
because
is
we don't
an
have
environment you created.
Sure. But how much of it do you think is repetition and doing it over and over and over again? Because, I mean, I get nervous. Like, you were on stage. That's a different thing. Being live in front of an audience. Were you, like, stupidly nervous or?
I was definitely, my blood was pumping. I was excited.
How'd you get over that?
You can't. You just go out there.
Really?
You use, yeah. I mean, I just use it. I try my best.
Were you aware of the people, or did you lose them?
In those moments, I always just think of my scene partners. I zone in on them because that's where I need to be, anyways. Right?
I give you hella credit because that scares it scares the living crap
And a
out of me.
classic, piece of advice, and you just said it, is you can't have control of your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They won't go away, and then you reframe them in your mind and use it as excitement, as energy. You won't be able to calm people mean, oh, I want this feeling to go away. How do I get this to go away?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, so you have to reframe it to use it as excitement. That's the idea, at least.
And what I'm thinking for you, you say you want to let go, right? And I think you can practice that in your real life.
Have an Elsa moment.
What?
Let it go. Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say? Have an Elsa moment.
Oh, Elsa.
Have an Elsa moment.
Yeah. But like, she's a trained opera singer, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus.
So that's
We
that.
can have her sing a Disney song.
She's going to be singing in the short film. So.
Oh.
Nope. She has a little.
I'm going to sing something a little silly.
A little something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But anyways, for the letting go, you can practice that in your real life with this film that you're producing.
That's the goal. But
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a practice. It's a practice.
I know. I think it's just, I think getting out of my own head is kind of the thing. And I think it comes with time. I think it just comes with more repetition. More times you do it, you can kind of, because right now I'm so worried. I'm worried about, I don't want to say worried. What's a better way of saying worried?
Anxious.
There you go.
Apprehensive.
I like that one.
About how things are going to go.
Right. So
Petrified.
I'm so petrified. You gotta think worse than word. I'm like so apprehensive about everything. My performance, instead of like, okay, I'm confident in what I'm gonna do. Even though I am getting better. I'm getting better because like I'm prepping, in a different way this time and writing a lot of stuff down and all that. But it's like I admire people that can totally like just, they take their information and they just can deliver. And it's like, that's the goal, at least for me, that's the goal. Like,
I agree.
We were watching scenes yesterday of Gary Oldman, great actor from Leon the Professional.
Sure.
And he is amazing. Like everything he does is amazing. Al Pacino, I was watching Al Pacino in an interview, right? He was just talking about his greatest roles. He was just talking about Scarface and The Godfather and whatever. And Al Pacino's really known for like stuff that he does with his hands. He has the thing with his hands. Everybody, I think Andrew Garfield said it to him one time. Like, I want to do what you do with your hands. I don't know what you do, but I want to do it. And like, he's in an interview and he's just sitting there. He's just doing stuff with his hands. And I'm like, you're like, oh, wow, sorry. You're like mesmerized just by what he's doing with his freaking hands. He's not really doing anything. It's like, I want to do that. Like, who do you guys?
You're doing it now.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Who do you
hands
guys?
down.
Who do you guys? Favorite actors? Like, who do you look up to? Who do you?
I love all the redheaded actors in Hollywood.
Julia Roberts is actually my favorite.
Oh, she's good.
Robert.
Oh, but we all have a particular one that we really like. Who would you say? If you had one actress or actor.
That's really hard.
I said mine already.
How about we do man and
Julia
woman?
Roberts.
How about man and
she's
woman?
your absolute favorite?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
I love her brightness and her smile, her hair.
Talk
her
about
energy.
somebody who's totally in their own element.
Yes.
She's got
their
energy.
personality. Yeah.
Every time you see her, she's like, you could feel the energy off her, I would say. Male-wise, who would you say? Who's your favorite male actor? Yeah, screw the guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have one. I got to think about that.
I don't know.
Guys, I don't really go to see movies for the guys. I love Gary Oldman. Great.
Round of applause for her because she.
I mean, if he's in a movie, you want to see it.
Because he claims that Gary Oldman is a nobody.
I never said that.
Maybe you don't recognize him in all the movies he's been in.
I like this girl.
Yeah.
I like her a lot because I say the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I've told him before. I'm like the great thing about Gary is you lose him for the character he's playing, right? And he's like, oh, but isn't that the reason you go watch a film is because you know Gary Oldman? Then don't you want to see Gary Oldman? I'm like, I get what you're saying, but you're kind of off base.
Or maybe you want to see his work.
Yes, I like her a lot. She gets another one. I mean, same thing goes with this guy right here. His greatest performance of all time, right? And you almost forgot it was Heath Ledger. Like, I look at him as the Joker, right? And you watch the movie, and then you go watch, and then you see any clip behind the scene or anything of Heath Ledger, you're almost like, crap, I forgot that they're the same people. Like, that's how crazy he got into this role. You lost him in that role.
I forgot he had a British accent. Or Australian, right?
No, he's he's Australian.
Wait.
He's American, isn't he?
No, he has an accent. We're going to find this right now.
Hold on, let's look it up.
No, he's from Australia.
He's got to be. He's
99%.
He's Australian?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
yeah, he is
Australian. Really?
Yes.
Hold on, keep going.
Thinking of The Knight's
No,
Tale?
it's him. Trust me, it's him.
There are a
Australian.
lot
He's
of
right.
actors who are
He's right.
South African.
He's Australian. He's correct.
He's Australian.
He is correct. Australian. Anyways.
Anyways,
Jonathan,
yeah.
your biggest struggles as an actor.
I am not an actor.
He is not an actor.
That's a big struggle as an actor.
Not me. Yeah, it is.
You know,
that's why I won't partake in his roles or anything like that.
He struggles
you are. You're going to be a dead body. You're going to be a
Yeah.
dead body. What are you talking
That's
about?
the one role I can play.
You're gonna be
A dead body.
Practice holding your breath.
And the episode I talked about us roller skating, he was going to be a pedestrian that caught me when I fell on my roller skates.
Fair enough. I can see that's believable. That's believable.
But obviously didn't happen.
Close
So you
up
didn't
with both
learn.
of your
You
feet.
didn't. No, didn't even try.
To roller skate?
Yeah.
I'm still practicing. Yeah, I've got roller. Don't you have roller skates too?
A lot harder than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Oh, we know why they nixed that then.
Well, our idea was actually that we would like film without roller skates on and just imitate it for the camera, and then have shots of us.
How would you do that?
Like, say if you have a close up and you're walking along like this, and
But the
you're just-
motions are different.
and
Wouldn't
you
it?
have a conversation.
That'd be like a really slow, like
I could probably
That would look
see
odd.
it. I could see it if you were like at a roller rink that's wood floor and you could just slide around in your socks. I get it. But like if you're on concrete, I mean, you can't have that motion of sliding.
Stop and go,
You know what I'm
stop
saying?
and
I
go.
mean, I guess you can, but I mean,
But skates aren't that slidey. They're you just kind of go like this.
oh yeah, I guess because
They're
the
more side to
four,
side.
you're
They're
talking
like
about the
this.
four.
that's interesting. I'd like to see if that's even possible now.
And then we have a long shot of us actually skating away, and we're
Or
actually
falling.
really bad at it, and we're like really slowly going.
Holding
and then
on to each other.
I really wanted to have like then a close up of like obviously someone just holding the skates and then hitting a rail and just going, and then back to us and being like, "Wow, great!" and like high fiving each
I
other.
think I like that.
That was the original concept.
Yeah.
That really
for sure.
was. That really was.
We should add that in somehow to
Yeah.
Lana and Emmy.
No, yeah, that's kind of that would be super hard to film.
What's it?
Any type
Oh,
of like
yeah.
roller skating or like biking or anything of that. Anything that involves a lot of motion. I mean, I have one fight scene in my short, and that's hard to coordinate. That's super hard to coordinate.
And it ends up being a really small amount of time.
Yeah,
And then
And-
you're like, wow, that's a lot of work for a minute and a half.
but it's gonna add a dynamic to
Yeah.
it. Is what it is. I don't know. I mean, I'm so stressed, Emma. I need help, Emma.
I'm
need
gonna
help.
come on set and
Oh
be
my
your guru.
God, I'm so fucking stressed.
I'm gonna be your life coach. Okay.
Speaking of which, are you excited to record next week?
I am.
And we're gonna have a scene.
I didn't
you and
even tell Lonnie until now, but I'm
Oh.
playing a part in his role. I
Okay.
mean, movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very honored and excited because I've always wanted to play this role. Can I tell him?
Sure.
Playing a cop,
Detective
cop,
Detective.
detective.
What's your name?
Amanda.
Last name, though.
What's my last
I
name?
think you're Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Because that's what you would say, like Gutierrez here. You know, like
right,
as a detective.
Detective Gutierrez. Yeah.
There we go.
That's
See,
my
that sounds pretty good. John, who you
Low
playing?
bun, I'm guessing.
Probably.
body
No,
number
not
six.
so sure.
Dead body number 6.
Dead body number
Dead
6
body
over
number
there.
I don't even get
Ex-military.
number 1.
But I'm really
Jeez.
excited. This is a great script, Miguel.
Well,
Seriously.
I can't take a lot of the credit for it because I mean I initially came up with the idea, but Diego did a lot of writing in there, so I give all the credit to him more than I did because mine is just the concept. He kind of really. Did you read the original script that I wrote? Did I send that?
Yeah.
to you?
Mm-hmm.
So, like he just expanded.
Yeah, he expanded
on
it. Yeah.
Holy crap!
It's good. It's really creepy and good.
Yeah. I think it might be pretty good. We're actually like starting to think of kind of the same thing how you guys did. Like we want to do a little screening and the whole 9 yards.
Got
Yeah.
to. Honestly, yeah.
We're looking forward to our producer over there.
We're already
helping out with some money.
Do you know what I want to do if it doesn't work out with any kind of screening in Chicago with a film festival? Is do a screening at the Music Box. How special would that be?
Oh, that's the one on Ashland, no? Over there?
It's like from the 20s. It's like old. The big room is like old, and it
It's over
looks
there.
like a
It's-
piazza, and there's like vines and like windows in the inside.
I think I've seen because I started looking into like theaters you can rent or whatever, and I think they came up.
Yeah, it's a really cool historic place. It's one of the only theaters that displays film in, what was the millimeter that was like Dunkirk and the
35?
Lighthouse?
35?
Maybe 35.
35
I forgot
maybe?
the number, but yeah, one of like 2 theaters.
So just on a lighter note, favorite movies. What's your favorite movie?
That's really hard. Whenever
For
someone
all
asks me,
actors here.
I say Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? There's like 20 of them, isn't there?
All one, and they're all perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh.
not going to hear any criticism. No, I love, the 1, 2, 3, the originals that I saw when I was a kid. Of course, that affects your favorite movie, more
Do
so
I
than
feel
The
old
Hobbit.
now?
But
Because she watched it when she was a kid.
And that came out in
And
what,
I was
the early 2000s?
mid-20s probably.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't that.
in 2001, how old were you?
Oh, God.
That's when the first Lord of the Rings.
Was it
17?
2001?
Yeah.
17?
Really? I thought it
18?
was like later.
17?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty young. I mean, that was the same year. I guess that's the same year Spider-Man came out. I remember watching that in 2001. That was a big deal.
And also, came out around that time, if not the same year, was Pirates of the Caribbean. That's how old that is, too.
Speaking of Johnny,
No.
Time
Speaking of
flies.
Seeing you, Johnny.
What about
it's
him?
crazy to see that pirate on the stand. That's interesting.
You going to jail?
Or
What is he going to
I don't
jail?
know. I don't think anybody's gonna go to jail, but
It's a
you
libel
can't go to
case,
jail.
I mean.
You can't go to jail. You're not gonna go to jail. I think he's. I think he might win. I think he actually might win it. Simply because of like certain evidence that are overwhelming that she's kind of a horrible person. But again, I don't think he's an angel either. He's kind of a douchey dude too. So
It's important to remember, like, we're getting so much information that the jury is not getting.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
absorbing so much of this information.
Watching
online
snippets on TikTok.
and people's opinions that aren't part of the, testimony.
speak for yourself. I've sat through the entire thing. Literally,
You got a
I've
lot
sat
of
through the
time on
entire
your
thing.
hands.
Well, I put it on YouTube and I'll start listening to it while I'm at work. And the only benefit I have is that I can rewind versus a juror can't rewind anything. So like I can be like, oh, did she really say that or whatever? And I can kind of analyze, but it's interesting. It's an interesting case. I don't think if I was a juror, I would be that one stubborn dude that's like, dude, you can't prove that, you can't prove either way. I think they're both guilty. Both of them. They're both guilty of being to each other. Literally they're both. I think in all fairness, I would say I would rule that Amber, you need to give him his money back, whatever it was, and then you stay over here, you stay over there. Everybody get the hell out of my courtroom. You guys are crazy.
It's your.
You should be a judge, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
literally,
that's
that
your
would be the
judgment
Wow,
as
you
a
should be a
judge.
judge.
like that would be it. That'd be it. Like just you guys
You-
both don't.
Yeah,
like,
but you have to think about in a court, you're really deciding about something really narrow. You're not deciding like we don't like Amber Heard. We like,
no, I
you
agree.
know what I mean?
But the thing is, the evidence is kind of weird in this case. So like, if like I remember Johnny had an expert in on Amber's it was like a psychiatrist, right? So on Amber's,
Psychological.
so whatever, and they were saying no, and his expert was saying no, Amber's crazy, Johnny's completely normal. Then Amber had an expert come in and he's saying no, he's crazy, she's 100% normal. They're both experts. So now, how do we when they're both experts, they're both saying opposites. So now we gotta toss that out because it's equal, right? No one's. There's no way to tell either way, you know. But I just feel like these two, I don't know who hit who first. I think they probably hit each other. Like they probably like, you know, that double knockout back in those old video games. That's what that was. They both poof done. But like, they just need to stay away from each other. That's what it is. Like,
well, they are staying away from each other. I mean, they divorced in 2017, right?
Yeah. I mean, but this is. I mean, I get what Johnny's trying to get at, but there's no winning. Neither one is gonna win, either which way.
I disagree. I mean, I think Johnny has redeemed himself in the public eye through this court case.
I don't think he's gonna redeem himself as he's never. I don't think he's gonna be as prevalent as he was. I think his career's been damaged, and himself, because he's damaging himself, because a lot of stuff is coming out to light in this case, which is not involving Amber. So like, we all kind of knew he was a drug addict, and we kind of knew he was an alcoholic, and we kind of knew that he was violent towards hotel furniture. Like we knew that.
That's
right?
most actors.
Right. But we kind of knew. Now we truly know what kind of an addict he was or is, or what kind of alcoholic he was. And we can see it, which makes him look even worse. His publicists, his old managers are coming out saying he was horrible. So he was horrible to manage because he was always late or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, production, sometimes they didn't want to work with him. So a lot of the dirty laundry's coming out, which I don't think has nothing to do with Amber. So how does he recover from that? Like he's legit, you know, ordering boatloads of cocaine off the boat kind of thing, you know, because that's how big of a drug addict he was. You can't hide that anymore. That's out there. Now, can he recover? It's Johnny Depp, right? He'll recover somewhat. Fully? I don't know. Amber's not recovering for nothing because she's not big enough to recover.
No.
Right. It's just so hard to say. I mean, obviously you're right.
She's going to be on our podcast one of these days. That's how low she's going to get.
That's
how low she's going to get. She's going to be, we're going to have Amber Heard on IMO.
Yeah.
That's how low she's gotten.
We'll get 300 views on that one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say but that all depends on public opinion about alcoholism, drug use. How bad is that compared to abuse? You know, I mean, like, it's very tricky.
I agree.
And it depends on the person. Like, are we going to forgive Johnny Depp? Would we forgive someone else?
I think forgiveness is one thing, but working with him is a different thing. Like, will Disney re-up his contract?
That's what I'm thinking. More business-wise than public eye.
The public can forgive him, but are the businesses going to forgive him?
Well, I think that's one and the same. I mean, if he makes money and people like him, that's business.
Well, I mean, he still makes money now, and they're kind of not wanting to work with him.
Well,
because he's still for the most part, he's positively looked at in the public eye, even with this case.
Didn't they drop him from Fantastic Beasts because of this case?
That's what the claim is.
We don't know that for sure.
We don't know that for sure. Okay. Right. We don't know that for sure. I'm assuming it probably is because that's the same thing with Pirates. I guess they were saying the same thing, and then Amber's suffering from the same thing too because they're cutting her role basically from Aquaman 2. So like I guess she had a predominant role, and now she's down to like 48 seconds.
Yeah,
or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, I think they're both gonna be reeling from this. More her than him, obviously, because he's.
I think people are going to be running to watch the next movie he's in.
Think so?
After this?
I think so. I think so too.
Sure.
Let's put it like this. Christian Bale's an example, right? Christian Bale's been recorded having horrible outbreaks. Outbursts. He's been sued by his family members for abuse. Is he positively seen in the public eye? He still gets jobs, I guess, right?
Yeah, but think about what roles he's done. Killers, psychos. It's different.
So Johnny Depp could be a villain.
It's different than if you're promoting yourself as a family-friendly person, or you're part of Disney, or you have a public image of that. It's like we kind of accept that, like, we're a little bit scared of Christian Bale, and we're a little bit scared of his characters, and that works, you know. And he's not out doing fun stuff. He's not ever.
Well, he is part of Disney now because he's part of. He's in the Thor movie.
Oh, really?
He's the bad guy in the Thor.
I just saw that.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. But it is a Disney flick. But then again, his events have happened so many years in the past, but it never really stopped him from getting roles, you know? But I mean, do I think he can bounce back? Do I think Johnny can bounce back? I just don't know if he's ever going to reach
He's gonna be in some weird old Tim Burton movie
forever
those
to the end.
Those
of
were
time.
great movies.
Yeah.
Most of those Tim Burton movies were really good. I don't know. We'll see what happens. My boss was like, "Oh, they're gonna have this done that day, first day of delivery." I'm like, "You're crazy.
No.
This is gonna be like they're gonna. I feel like it's gonna be like at least a week before they come up with a decision."
There's a lot of information to go through.
Yeah, a lot.
And even if people don't run to the movie and it doesn't make a lot of money, there'll be so much hype around the next thing that either one of them do.
Well, one of them. I don't think the other one is gonna get anything.
She'll get a movie.
I don't think she's getting anything.
Yeah, she will.
First of all, she's not that big of an actress to begin with. This was her biggest role.
Yeah.
Like of all, and she's not even the lead character. You get what I'm saying? She's just the romantic interest in the film. And to do something this loud right now, it's tough.
It can either go either
Either go
either way. Yeah. Wow. Really, it can
go
be
either
great
way.
or really bad for
But don't they say good or bad publicity is like all the same? It's all good.
No, not nowadays.
Not shitting in the bed.
I mean,
Any publicity
maybe
is
she'll
good
be in a
publicity.
comedy and that's what her character does. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's
She's going to be in a movie and people are going to go watch it just because she got so much hype off this thing.
I don't know. I think with
It's
her, I
kinda
think it's
gonna
going
have
to
to
be, I think it's because of the fact that it's Johnny. I think she really, 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 if it would have been any other B-listing actor, whatever, but the fact that it's Johnny, I think it's what makes her look even worse. Or it's going to hit her even worse because it's such a high profile.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I do wonder if for some reason she didn't really calculate how well loved Johnny is.
And she's really
she's crazy.
Really, she's crazy.
She is
Which
the crazy
actually
one.
would
She is
make
one of
sense
the
to me
most
because there's
popular.
all this stuff in the trial about her insulting him and what he's done and like making fun of him for like hanging out with old guys and playing guitar, and these are like rock stars.
Sure.
Like maybe she didn't actually watch all his movies, like him when he was young and like all the way back to like What's Eating Gilbert Grape and Edward Scissorhands. Like he's like a cultural icon.
He was a
That is a good
heartthrob.
point. What if
Yeah.
she just doesn't know?
Has she ever seen Crybaby?
Well,
Probably not.
She's probably really young.
True.
She is young. I mean, she's younger than me.
How old is she?
I think she's
Yeah?
younger than me.
She's like 28.
No, she's a little older than 28. Though.
No.
Oh, no, she's like 34.
Okay.
Jeez.
I remember thinking she was 28 when they were married. Is that correct? That might not be correct.
She was really young when they got together. Like she was super young. She's my age. She's 36. She's 36.
So
And he's almost 50, isn't he? He's got to be almost 50, right?
He might be older than 50.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
think
he's
so.
older than
50?
50. I feel like he is too.
Because when he was, I don't remember him being like a heartthrob. So I'm even too young to remember that. So
Yeah,
I'm
those
like
are
2
beyond
years older
all of our
than-
times, but I've seen
Yeah.
all those
Wow,
movies
he's
when he was-
58 years old.
Yeah.
58.
He's 58. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Have you guys seen Crybaby? You should watch
No,
that.
I
That's a
haven't.
good one.
I have not.
It's really weird.
He's a really good actor. I think he's an amazing actor. He's another one that you kind of lose him with his characters. But again, he's always played characters that are so opposite of himself. What happened to you? He's so opposite of wow, he literally ran upstairs. He's like complete opposite of what you see. Is it weird that if you watched you've seen some clips of the trial, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it on TikTok.
So a lot of people are criticizing him since we're all actors now. We're all actors here.
We're alone.
Excuse me. People are criticizing Amber a lot. Like, oh, she's acting. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. Now, I'm not saying she's not, but I will challenge in a certain way. Who's the better actor in this? In between these two,
Right. That's
John.
an interesting thing to get into.
right? So Johnny's the better actor, yes. So Amber is playing the role of the victim, so she would have to play the crying and super dramatic about stuff, right? Johnny's the opposite of that. But I think Johnny's also acting because Johnny is acting like if he has a close-up. When you see a close-up or a mid-shot, right? What does an actor do?
I can't believe it.
An actor is just there. And he's selling whatever he's selling with his eyes. And he's having this conversation. That's how an actor makes his money, right? In here. So Johnny, if you watch what he's doing, he's acting.
I mean, another way to say that is he's well aware of how to come across on screen correctly to get across what he wants. But you can't really say he's being deceptive. We don't know that. But it's hard to say with actors because it's like if you're trained in coming across how you want to come across no matter how you feel.
Did something burn upstairs or something? You had an emergency?
Bathroom emergency.
Oh, wow. He literally ran. He ran.
No, not that type.
Oh.
I drank a lot of water.
He ran over there. That's the fastest I've seen him get up and go. Jeez. Back to the thing real quick, just for 2 more minutes. I think I'm not saying, again, I don't know who's lying in this case. I think they're both lying to an extent. I think they both are kind of full of crap. Maybe more her than him, whatever. But I think they're both putting on performances, just different types of performances. I think Johnny is doing what he does best, and that getting you to believe him. That's what he does, right? It's acting. Acting is getting someone to believe in what you're actually trying to portray through a screen. Yes? And she's just not as good as him. By no means. Yeah,
like dogs.
So your take is they're both evil, they're both wrong, and Johnny's gonna come out on top because he's a better actor.
No, I think they're both. I think they're both wrong. Because I kid you not, and I will stand by this statement. I made it a week ago. You cannot tell me that Johnny Depp, being a drug abuser, being an alcoholic, being someone that we know has a tendency to outburst. Is the right word? To have these outbursts.
Yeah.
And remember, he said in court under oath, sometimes he'll be so on drugs that he doesn't even remember what happened the night before. Okay. Is it so out of the scope that maybe there's a possibility he hit somebody and maybe could have been a woman? I'm not saying he did it on purpose or he knew or he knew what he was doing, but is it beyond the scope that could possibly have happened? That's my thing. Again, there's videos of him slamming glasses, throwing chairs, doing this, and that. Are we automatically just going to say, well, since he didn't throw it at her, he would never throw it at her? You get what I'm saying? Like that has to be in play, maybe not to an extreme, but it has to be in there because that's usually what happens in domestic abuse cases, especially when there's drugs involved. It's usually the alcohol, it's usually the drug that kind of increases what happens. So I think we can't just eliminate, oh, he never would hit somebody. But he's gotten into fights with men. He's gotten into fight with office chairs and tables and glassware and cabinets and all this stuff. So what kept him from
cabinets?
Sure. I mean, that one video is the one famous one where he's like slamming the cabinets around or whatever.
Itself.
That's the thing. We don't know. And we're only seeing what they want to show us. We really don't even know what happens when there was no cameras recording. I'm not saying she's lying or she's telling the truth. I'm just saying it's to me, it's not, I can't take that possibility off the table because there is heavy drug use involved, heavy alcohol involved. Whenever that's in play, things can happen. That's just my opinion.
But doesn't that kind of get into the idea of like whether or not he's the perfect victim? You know, like does he have to be perfect and innocent to be a victim? Yeah, you know, like if he's done something wrong, then they're both wrong. Or isn't there the case that like more often than not, one person is the problem?
So I'll challenge. So if you were to say verbal abuse, let's just use verbal abuse for example. So she's verbally abused him, right? Would you say he has verbally abused her?
You might be more up to date on the case than I have. I've heard her tapes of her saying awful things.
Okay. So there's a tape that played in the closing statements where Johnny Depp is calling her a cunt. Loud, yelling at her face. You're a whatever, right? I don't like that word, but is that verbal abuse? And the same token, if she said that to him, again, this is another situation where we have evidence of both. Like he's written some really bad text messages that were displayed and told. So I'm like, okay, so now we're back to square one again because she treats him like crap. He treats her like crap. How do we judge it?
Yeah.
When they both have the same thing on their ledgers. You get what I'm saying?
I know, but isn't the argument with this case that other people are making, not that I'm the expert, is like that's how abusive situations work. Like the abuser gets the other person to react and gets them to do things that they can portray them as the abuser.
How do we determine who was the initial abuser?
Right.
And I think that's what's in question right now. Because if she slapped him, all he did was hit her back. You know, it's a difference, right? Now, we don't know if he hit her first and she hit back. We don't know. That's where the question is. You know what I'm saying? And I think with both pairs, I think Amber has a little bit of a history with her ex girlfriend or wife or whatever it was. I think there was one situation that they brought up where I think she called I don't remember. There was a situation. But Johnny, for the most part, with his couples, they've never had issues. From what I've heard, and they even had Kate Moss yesterday. She was there.
What does she look like now?
She's beautiful. Well, she looked great on the Zoom.
She's thin. She's still pretty thin.
Really?
Yeah, she's still pretty thin. And she was always known for being pretty. I mean, she was good. I mean, I just don't. The only reason I really remember her was from when they were throwing jabs at her on Family Guy, because she was so thin.
Yeah.
When she was like falling through the crack of the floor.
She was the icon of the 90s.
Yeah, she was.
Heroin
chic. Yeah.
Yeah. The impossibly thin. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
That is
quote.
not true at all.
But she made the perfect. I thought she made like the perfect couple with Johnny, because it was like they were both extremes in different areas. Like, you know, like Johnny was the rocker bad boy kind of image, you know, great actor, and she was kind of a different version, like a more extreme, an extreme version of something else. And I thought they worked pretty well, but that didn't last too long. Anyways, but Emma looks like I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm bored. I'm just sitting here.
Oh, here we are. No, I'm just kidding.
Emma.
I told him not to talk about
we have to
this.
circle back to Emma's favorite movies.
Yes.
Oh,
and then we'll
that's
close
hard
out.
for me too. I really love Mystic Pizza.
Oh, Mystic Pizza.
Do you know what Mystic Pizza is, John?
I know Julia Roberts.
Yeah, it's really cute. Oh my gosh.
That's your favorite movie?
That's a great movie.
Moonstruck. Have you ever seen that with Cher? Is amazing.
I've never seen Moonstruck.
It's really funny. She is amazing. That's also a good
The
one.
Lord's name. So, all early 90s stuff.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't have this like on top of mine. I'm gonna have to revisit this for my own.
This is hard. Like, you've probably seen like 1,000
So many
movies.
1987, Moonstruck. Oh, I never. Nicolas Cage is in it?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. He's awesome in that movie too.
What was that first Nicolas Cage movie? Oh, Raising Arizona. That's a great movie. Have you guys seen that?
No.
That's whack.
I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Nicolas Cage.
You got to give me action or comedy.
Action
Can't give
or
me
comedy?
some type of rom-com.
Boo.
You suck. You're so not into.
You're the same way.
Shut up! Don't say that.
Yeah.
No, I really like action. I love action movies.
What's your favorite action?
I don't
movie?
know. Don't ask me.
Stop.
Here's
Stop
the thing.
with that interrogation.
I love The Dark Knight.
I'm trying to get it.
I
The
think
Dark Knight.
That was an
that
amazing
is
movie.
I
Gary Oldman.
like her a lot.
I love Christian
Did you
Bale.
not see what she did? She was like, I like the Dark Knight. Dark Knight.
No, I really,
Yeah, it was
really
right
do
there.
love
She
The Dark
read
Knight.
it. Come on.
Well, she could have said I like Conan the Barbarian. I guess, or
We'll go with
Pumping
that.
Hercules
Iron.
in New York, or whatever. What was it called? Is that the one that?
Yeah.
Or Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
great film.
Batman and Robin.
It premiered in
I
Cannes.
love Batman
Cannes.
Begins.
Batman Begins was good. That was a great movie.
I'm thinking of action. I'm trying to think.
Liam Neeson is great.
I like Taken.
Yeah, that's
Taken?
That's
It was
okay.
really
Yeah, the
good.
first one was okay.
It was really
the first
good.
one was okay.
It's
There's
really
more
scary.
than
It's
that.
It got
really
repetitive.
sad, but
It got repetitive. The thing with Liam Neeson is that, I'm sorry, they need to stop making movies with him and having him kick so many people's asses, because I don't believe it. he's not young anymore. I get it. Training is one thing, right? I think he said it in the
it's
Batman
a
Begins
dad
thing.
power fantasy.
Right.
It's unrealistic. Like,
Right.
how many dead bodies has he left?
And I kicked
Yeah.
everybody's ass and I saved my perfect little daughter.
I mean,
And all the dads watching are like, yeah, this is a great movie.
I could totally do that. And oh, there goes my hip.
Right?
No, I mean, I like him as an actor, but I think he's already past his. Same thing with
His action prime.
Yeah, same thing with freaking what's his face from The Matrix. He looks
Neo.
What's his name?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, same thing. Like I watched the last Matrix movie, I'm like, dude, you're too old for this. Like this is a young man kind of thing. You were young when you did it. It was like, no, leave it.
You don't know how the Matrix works.
It works a lot slower now.
Yeah.
Like apparently, because all the fights were like, not that, you know how they purposely did the slow motion thing, right? That was their thing, right? Slowing fight scenes down, whatever. No. Keanu was just that slow in these fights. When it was normal speed, it looked like they slowed it down. I'm
gosh.
like, come on, they gotta let it go.
I love Keanu.
I do too. I think he's kind of the weirdest cool guy ever.
I like
weirdos.
weirdos.
He's kind of a weirdo,
He's
but
so wholesome, so kind.
I hear about that. He takes the train.
He's a great
Stuff like
guy.
that.
I would not be taking the train.
No, I heard he takes public
I know.
transportation.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying I wouldn't.
I mean, honestly, if you saw him, like when we were watching that little trailer thing, you probably wouldn't even know it's him. You'd probably think it's someone you need to give change to.
I would know it's him.
You would know it's him? Because he looks kind of
sure.
rough when he has the little beard. He kind of looks all scruffy and
That's
shit.
how I know him right now.
Yeah?
Oh, do you
I
know
know.
another one of my favorite movies is Chocolat? Have you seen that movie? Chocolat. It's
No.
not chocolate.
That's what he thought.
It's not chocolate.
No,
It's
I know.
Chocolate, LAT at
I
the
know
ending.
what-
And Johnny Depp is in that.
Oh.
And what's
You've
her
seen
name?
it?
Who's the female lead?
She's so famous. She's French. It's an amazing movie.
Okay, I'm really
I've seen
embarrassed
that
that I
one
don't
so
have
many
favorite
times.
movies.
I can't. Can you guys watch movies nowadays? Like, do they still have the same impact even if you're in the business? Really?
Oh,
Emma,
I
you're
can
unique.
I can turn it on and
I
off.
can't.
I can turn it on and off.
I cannot.
I have to. I have to force myself because I still want to enjoy them. You know.
Oh my god! I was trying to watch the TV show that Andrew Garfield's in right now on Hulu. Something about heaven. I forgot what it is. It's like about the Mormons. Like it's like an extreme Mormon group that's like killing
yeah,
people or
I've heard
whatever.
all about that.
And I like Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's awesome. First of all, I think he was kind of miscast for it because Andrew Garfield's older than me, but he looks like he's younger than me.
Yeah, he looks
Like,
yeah.
and the thing is, he's playing a detective, and I'm like, I don't believe it because you look like you're a kid still, and for you to be the lead detective, like I don't know, it just feels kind of miscast for him, even though he's good. But I was watching it, and I'm like, I'm just paying attention to like freaking camera movements, and they used the shaky cam here. Why did they use this? Like I can't. I ruined. I like books now. Books are cool. Books are good.
Books now.
Oh, I wasn't a big reader. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was not a big reader when I was a kid. Now I am because that's different because you got to make it up in your head versus on the screen. I'm just breaking down the stuff that they do. Which
Do you
is
think you'd
annoying.
ever retire as an actor and be full on behind screen or behind camera?
Oh, you know what?
Or
I would say no
Really?
because I think acting it would be like me saying, well, I'm gonna retire from basketball and start coaching. There's a difference, you know. I think if I broke my leg, then yeah. Where I couldn't act anymore, like physically I couldn't act anymore, then yeah.
I think
But
there'd still be a part for you though. That's the thing.
play Professor Xavier
Guy with the
in
broken
the
leg.
wheelchair.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Play the in the basketball wheelchair. Well, I could play in the basketball wheelchair league.
I thought you were a Marvel guy.
I am a Marvel guy.
Why are you going Professor Xavier? You know his shit hovers, right?
Well,
He
in
doesn't
the
have
movies,
wheels.
he actually had wheels.
This is specific.
You don't
Okay.
He does have wheels. Anyways, it's time to wind it down. Where can people find you guys? Social media.
Home base, we're kind of saying is Instagram.
Yep.
We have an Instagram for the web series and for the short film, Lana and Emmy.
Lana _and Emmy with a Y.
And then if you guys want to give up any other information.
Yeah. Our
know you're into
YouTube
your whole fitness thing
series
and
is
everything.
Lana and Emmy. We have a short film coming up that we've talked about. We have a fundraising campaign for that.
Oh yeah, we're
happening,
fundraising right now.
which is very exciting.
Crowdfunding, so yeah.
And then
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo, yeah.
Indiegogo, yeah.
Did you see it? You see
I
the
sent
No,
it
he
to you.
told me
I
about
sent
it.
it to you.
Oh yeah.
He
Or did I
sent it.
send it? Did I just tell you about it? I think I sent
Just
it to
told me
Diego.
about
I think I
it.
sent it to Diego.
And what we're really excited about is we're obviously raising money for the film, but all the money that we raise over our goal, we're going to donate to Ukraine.
Right
I was
on.
really excited about that. And my personal Instagram is Emma M. Terrazas. I don't really hang out on there too much anymore, to be honest.
Emma's
But
a personal trainer.
yes. So you can find
Trying
me
to get
through there, too.
swole.
Yeah, I am working on there's going to be a scene where we're like in bathing suits. So I'm like, bring it on kind of thing. But, for the short.
Is that what we're going to have to do, John, to get you to put down the Mama Luna pizza is put you in a bathing suit in the movie?
Oh, if I was on a movie, yeah,
You
I'd
have 2
definitely
months
be.
to prepare.
No.
Right.
You're gonna be in boxers.
He has that one. He has one photo. I don't know if it's on his Facebook where like he's in a Speedo, and I remember he was losing a lot of weight.
I look good. I look good in that.
Nice.
I look good in that. You can't
debatable.
don't even front. I look good in that.
That's debatable. Madam, yourself, or that's the only one you want to give out?
Lana and Emmy is our thing right now.
Cool.
If you want to check me out on Instagram, state, and it's just my acting stuff and my.
Right on.
She stays on set. I'm telling you. She's always working, which is amazing.
I like to be on set.
I'm also 1800 versus 2020 is coming up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
The
that's
play?
Chicago based play in Morgan Park. It's about what slaves in the 1800s would tell their ancestors today. It's very, very thought-provoking. That's at the APC Theater on June 18th, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. So come out for that, too. It's
Fair
very
enough.
exciting.
John, you got anything else, buddy?
No, I'm starving right now.
Jesus.
I
We gotta
am.
feed this man.
Jesus Christ.
Just talked about Mama Luna's pizza.
I do have a taste
It's
for
going
pizza, to be
down.
honest.
Jeez. Ladies, I want to thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
I know
thanks so
you
much
come
for
from
having
very
us.
far.
Oh, thank you for having us. This was fun.
Emma, of course.
I know you
I
come
am always
from
in your
very
debt.
far.
For all the help you give me. Always
at
being
all.
my friend.
Not at all.
That's kind of
I'm in your. We're
that's
we're
not
friends
the,
forever.
It's not the easiest thing to be my friend.
No,
You guys
I mean,
It's not.
he's been my friend for 36 years. You guys want to come back sometime? Maybe after you guys are done with your
we'll have
your
to come
film?
back.
and after our film. I
Yeah.
gotta have you back. I gotta have you back
Let's tell
too.
you how it went.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
exciting.
All right, we're gonna sign out.
Bye.
And that's going to be our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion, and if you don't agree with it,